Hello everyone, it's Jen Scrapbena Creations. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm excited. I used up another older paper pad to create 35 cards, and this time I pulled out the Doodlebug French Kiss, which has been sitting in my stash for 3 years and I have not used it at all. So I actually won this at a crop and create event, which is the main crops that happen in Canada. They happen in multiple cities and they're hosted by Scrapbook and Card Today magazine, which is super fun. There's always lots of prizes, and I won this Doodlebug prize. So I got the 6x6 paper pad, a number of the 12x12 sheets, and I'm just going to show you here. I took one of the sheets and cut up the 3x4 cut aparts that were on that 12x12. I'm going to flip through some or just show you some of the 12x12s, and then I also got the 12x12 sticker sheet in my prize package, which was really cool, but I find them a little bit hard to use for card making. So it's not something I personally would purchase, but I was so happy to have the 12x12 sheets. I made a ton of slimlines and it really allowed me to use up the ephemera more than I think I ever have. So you can see here, time has passed, my nail colors have changed. I decided to order the ephemera pack, which Doodlebug calls their odds and ends, because I had so much paper and I really wanted to get the maximum use out of it. So I ordered this from Not Too Shabby Shop, and it's still available in quite a few places. So I'll link down below. Scrapbook.com still has a lot of this collection left, but I was able to get this using my reward points, so it actually didn't cost me anything, and it really allowed me to use up so much of the pattern paper and get it out of my stash. So I had a ton of fun with this particular collection. So I'm just going to quickly show you here the sentiment stamps. They're all Doodlebug. I have the Love You, the Happy Birthday, and the All Occasions, and I would highly recommend these sentiment stamps. I think they're great. The All Occasion one has kind of something for everything, which, I mean, says it in the name, but I find I'm getting a lot of use out of them. So let's jump into card number 1. So I started off with a couple slimline cards because I had those 12x12 pattern paper, and it's almost making me want to buy 12x12 pattern paper now for every Doodlebug collection I work with. That's how much fun I had. And I have the new Made with Love collection that I'm going to start working on next, and I'm thinking about actually ordering some of the matching 12x12 pattern paper so that I can make a bunch of slimline cards. As you can just see how cute these were, and I really feel like the size of the ephemera lend well to the slimlines, and I think I got the most out of the ephemera packs that I ever have because I was able to use more than one ephemera, one or two, on multiple cards. So I was hoping to do the Made with Love collaboration with Christy Marcotte. She pre-ordered hers, has had hers forever. Her video is out, which I haven't watched because I don't want to be subconsciously influenced, but I am hoping to get mine out soon. But hopefully in the meantime, you'll enjoy watching these cards from an older paper pad. So here's card number 2, and I'm using the other little airplane, this time with the little girl, and she has the sign that says I love you. So I decided to use the red heart pattern paper to back her. The first one I used the cloud pattern paper, and I really think that was probably one of my favorites of the paper pad, but I liked how the red and blue background allowed this little cutie here to stand out, and I wanted to use up these 3 clouds, and I thought that they would get lost too much on the cloud pattern paper, so I thought it was perfect against the red. I think they really stand out. So as you can see, because this is a Valentine collection, there is a lot of cards that have to do with love and I did use the love sentiment stamp. So I have lots that say I love you, or cute little things like I love you more than chocolate, but I don't think these are necessarily Valentine cards. I think you could give these all year to let someone know that you love them. So although Doodlebug does do Valentine themes, I feel like the majority of their papers, really you can use them all throughout the year. So here's another good example. So one of those 12 by 12 sheets had these, I think they're just a little bit bigger than a 2 by 2 square. And this one says, plain and simple, I love you. And I cut out, well, I made my own Polaroid with the Heavy Doodle Essential die set. Super easy to do. You just use a rectangle, and then on the inside you use a square die, and you can make your own little Polaroid frame. So I thought this would be really cute. And then I'm using some of my own die cuts here. These are the Heavy Doodle Swirly Clouds, and I love these. They come in 3 different sizes, so a large, a medium, and a small. I'm using 2 of the large sizes and 1 of the small sizes. Actually, that might be the medium size. So 2 large and a medium. And I really love how this card turned out. A super simple layout, which most of the cards are today, but I find adding those nice bright white clouds really added something extra to this card with very minimal effort. So on some of the elements you'll see me throughout this video, I'm just adding some extra cardstock or some of the scrap pattern paper behind the elements that are hanging off of another, and this is just to keep it level. So there's that card complete, and we're already on to card number 4, which I think is my favorite card out of the 35. So make sure to let me know which was your favorite, but this for me, I don't know, it's so pretty and delicate, and I love that flower pattern paper. So that is one of the 12 by 12 sheets, and same with the clouds. And then I decided to use the air balloon. The Hugs and Kisses banner, that's from that 12 by 12 sticker sheet. So I was able to use some of the sentiments, and then there were some icons or little characters that I was able to use as well. Not so much characters, but I know that I used an envelope from that 12 by 12 sticker pad, but I would say for the most part, there was a lot on there that I just found wasn't really relevant to card making, but definitely if you made scrapbook layouts, it would be fantastic. So you can see here I'm using a combination of my Heavy Doodle clouds that I cut out of white cardstock and some of the cloud ephemeras. Actually, I think there was only one. And then popping up the hot air balloon and the sentiment. And I just love the colors in this. It's so pretty. Navy blue is really one of my favorite colors. I painted my room navy blue when I was a teenager. That's how much I love it. So maybe that's why I've really enjoyed working with this collection. So on to cards number 5 and 6. So I'm making my own heart-shaped chocolate boxes. These cards were inspired by my friend Sabrina from Scrappy Tales. She did some chocolate boxes with the Simon Says stamp card kit, and I fell in love with them. So I decided to make my own version using all of the little chocolates that came in the ephemera pack. Look how cute this is. So one of them I cut out of red cardstock, and the one to the right is cut out of some of the pattern paper. I just used my stitched heart die from Heavy Doodle. And one I'm going to make a regular A2 size card, and then the other I'm going to make into a heart-shaped card. So I did pull 2 of the sentiment strips from the sticker sheet. So one says Be My Valentine. So there, I think that might be the only Valentine card I do. Otherwise, the other ones I think could be used like I said, for any occasion. I think without these ones saying Valentine, they would make really cute anniversary cards. So here I'm just showing you how I create my shaped cards. So I'm using a regular card base, and I use accent opaque paper, which will be listed down below, as well as all of the other products I'm using today. And you still can find, I can't remember if I said this, you still can find the French Kiss collection, so I will link to that. I know scrapbook.com has a lot of that, and forgive me if I already said that because I did have to start this video over once. But here I'm just showing you, so you want to make sure the top of your die is overhanging where your card base creases so that it doesn't cut through, and then you have a hinged top to your heart or any shape that you want to do. And I was just showing you there, as I didn't have the top of my glue bottle off, how I keep my pin beside me on my Twiddler's Nook magnetic little paw print, which is super cute, and it's so handy. I never lose that pin. So I made a couple of those heart-shaped boxes for the chocolates, and then this one is a super simple card, and I made quite a few of these just using the 3x4 cut-apart sheet, backing that on to some red cardstock, and then using my new to me Honeybee Stamps Scalloped frame for the back of my card here, so the main pattern paper with the chocolates. And that card came together in like, 30 seconds. So then I still had quite a few of the chocolate ephemera and then these 2x2 cut-aparts. So I decided to make 2 of these Slimline cards, seeing I also had the chocolate pattern paper. So these are a very simple design using those 2x2 cut-aparts, just backing them onto some cardstock, and I'm just using up some scrap cardstock that I have in my stash, so great way to use up those smaller pieces. So I'm going to have the layout the same for both of these, having the 2x2 square at the top, and then adding some dimension by putting some foam tape on the back of the ephemera pieces and putting those over top of the little icons that are already on those 2x2 cut-aparts. So just giving some dimension to the cards, a very easy way to kind of step up a clean and simple card. And so for the one on the left, I added a couple of those chocolate pieces. So just adding some interest to the bottom of the card. I didn't think the one on the right needed anything because that pattern paper is busier, but super simple. Love how these turned out. So moving on to card number 10, I loved these little cuties. They remind me of a cute couple, and you can see with the theme of this collection being French Kiss and also like a Parisian theme, these two I thought looked really cute with the Eiffel Tower. So I used a stitched semi-circle die from Sunny's Studio with that nice navy blue pattern paper just to be the focal point for my images. I decided to pop up my little couple here on some foam tape, as well as the sentiment Love You Lots, which is also from the sticker sheet. And then that pattern paper to the back is really fun. It has multiple icons on it and it's just really cute. So I wanted a bunch of that to show. And then to finish off, I used my black glaze pen on the eyes of our little guy here. So moving on to card number 11, this also turned out to be one of my favorite cards. I'm using the plaid pattern paper and then the Honeybee Stamps Scalloped frame die here to create a little focal panel for my 2 little kids here on the bicycle with the dog on the back. How cute is that? So that I'm just going to adhere down to the center of my navy blue panel here with the polka dots, and then I'm going to add 3 of my clouds from my Swirly cloud dies to kind of fill out the top portion of this card. And I did drop it, thank goodness. It did not fall with the glue down, so I was able to save this. But I really loved how adding these clouds just helped add something special to these cards. For my sentiment, I'm going to use my Juniper Mist Ink by Catherine Pooler, and I'm using the sentiment, or in this case the word hey, and I'm going to stamp that. So this is a navy blue ink. I'm going to stamp that right on my cloud. So I decided to use 3 inks, colored inks. So I did use my Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. I also brought in this ink, which is a Catherine Pooler, and then 2 other Catherine Pooler inks, the Pink Champagne and the Aquatini. And I'll use both of those for cards number 12 and 13. So these ones I think turned out really nice as well. Now this particular set of cards I forgot to show you, but I believe I used a sketch for this. Yeah, I did. So this is MFT sketch 488. I did change it up a little bit, but for the most part, I followed the sketch. So I loved the flower pattern paper. Now this is from, all of the papers that I'm using except for the bow were from the 6x6 paper pads. You can tell that the illustrations are much smaller from the 6x6 paper pads. They're shrunken down from the original 12x12. So that's how you can pretty much tell whether the pieces I'm using are from the 6x6 or the 12x12. But I wanted to use these flowers, and I thought the one to the left would look really cute with that navy bird on top. I thought it would really pull up that navy pattern paper from that bottom 1/3 that I cut on a diagonal. So I stamped out the sentiment, "It's your birthday." So you can see here the 2 colors of Catherine Pooler inks, the Pink Champagne and the Aquatini, and I thought those went perfect for this particular collection. So I added my images on to the circle die cut, and then just trying to make sure I have those centered. I'll trim off the side of my sentiment strips here now that they've had a little bit of time to dry. And here's a close-up look of those 2 cards. I think they turned out really sweet. So the next set of cards are the perfume bottle themes, and to be honest, these are not my favorite, but I feel like they can't all be winners. So you might notice that kind of what I've been doing is I tend to sort the ephemera into like things. So here I have all the perfume stuff, so I try to work on those cards together. And you'll see, for example, coming up, I use all the little kids or the little characters at one point in time. But so here I was trying to use up the perfume, and I wasn't really sure what kind of occasion I would use for this type of card. So I stamped out the sentiment with all my heart, and I was thinking if you wanted to use it for a birthday card, you could stamp wishing you a happy birthday on the inside, or I just thought maybe this would be cute for a little girl, or I'm not really sure. If you have any ideas, leave me a comment down below and let me know what kind of occasion you think these cards might work for, but I think they're kind of girly and fun. So I used the Eiffel Tower pattern paper in that pretty aqua color for the back of my card, and then again using one of the honeybee scalloped frames for the focal panel out of the bow pattern paper, and then also adding that bow ephemera to the card just to kind of tie that in, and then adding my sentiment here underneath the perfume bottles. And then for the other one was a really simple card layout with the 2x2 cut apart and then adding the blue bow. So moving on to the wine theme cards. Now this is a trick I learned from my friend Christy Marcotte. So these are the stitched semicircle dies from Sunny Studio, and I don't have anything that would frame those. So what Christy did was layered them on to a circle die cut that she cut out of pattern paper and then trimmed off the bottom, which I thought was genius. Now for this particular one, I used my infinity circles. I probably could have used a larger sized circle, but this is going to give me just that tiniest bit of a frame around my focal panel here. And I think it really just helps separate it from that pattern paper. So thank you, Christy, for that amazing tip. So these card designs are going to be fairly similar. For the red one, I'm using 2 of the wine glasses. And then I wanted to show you the option of just using the 1 wine glass for the pink one on the right hand side. And I love how that little ephemera is kind of clinking out of the glass there like it's overspilling. I think it would be cute if you wanted to use the other wine glass that goes with this and have this one to the bottom, kind of laying down like it was spilt over, and the other one standing up. For these 2 cards, I decided to use the congrats sentiment. I realized in making these cards that I really need a stamp set that has to do with wine drinking with sentiments in it. I know MFT used to have a couple and I should have bought them, but if you know of any others, let me know and I can check them out. But I think it would have been fun to have some sassy kind of wine drinking sentiments with this. But I think the congrats goes well with it. And then you could give this card or these cards with a wine gift, which I think would be really cute. So I'm going to give you a close-up of these cards and then we'll move on to card number 18. And for card number 18, this super simple, I just wanted to show you how you can easily use up the 3x4 cut aparts. What I liked about them is it has the icons on them, but then it has a sentiment that is really sweet that matches. So this one says, "You had me at Merlot." I'm just going to back that onto some of the navy pattern paper. I did use my corner rounder, and then I'm just simply going to add this to a stitched scalloped background. And I wish Doodlebug hadn't separated out their sentiments from their ephemera. At one time, they had all of them together in a package, and I don't know, I find budget-wise, it's quite a bit of money to spend to buy the package of the ephemera and the package of sentiments, which they call the chit-chat. So I kind of wish they didn't do that, but I just use sentiments from my stash, which is great because it means that I get more use out of my stamps. So here we go, cards 19 and 20. So here's where I wanted to start using the little people characters on my cards. So for this set of cards, I'm going to do a very similar design, the exact same design. So I cut my pattern paper, and both of these are from the 12x12 sheet. So you can see here how much larger the size of the patterns are. And then I wanted to use the darker navy paper here for a panel, I guess, down the left-hand side of my card. So the one to the left is the polka dot. Now that one is from the 6x6 pattern paper. And then the right one is the navy striped. And at this point, I hadn't really been using the sticker sheet a lot, and so I thought I'll use some of these border stickers just to add a border to the right-hand side of that strip going down the card panel. So I'm going to add a stitched circle cutout here. This is cut out of the Eiffel Tower pattern paper. So just pulling in that pretty aqua color from the pattern papers. And then I'm going to use this sweet little girl with the heart balloon. Just going to add a little bit of scrap paper here to make sure that piece is level that comes off the circle. And she's holding a bouquet of flowers. And then this little guy here with his bouquet of flowers, and I thought it would be cute to add the red rose behind him just to fill out that circle a little bit more. Aren't they cute with their little smiles? So I'm going to use the sentiment Love You Bunches. I thought that was perfect for him. And I did just fussy cut around the words themselves. And then the one I used for her is You Are So Loved. So again, lots of hearts and traditional type of Valentine icons such as the flowers. But I think if you change up the sentiments, you can get lots of use out of these cards. So I think those turned out really sweet. Next up, I'm going to use the little girl with the, what I think is a French bulldog, which is super cute. So I wanted to have them with the Eiffel Tower. I did use a Lawn Fawn scallop border die here for the bottom of this square. It's kind of somewhere between a square and a rectangle. I wanted this panel to be high enough that the Eiffel Tower was on the majority of it. And again, I'm just using some scraps here to make sure that this is nice and level. So just adding lots of glue, and then I'm going to add this to my card panel, and I love how that little aqua paper with the border just kind of peeks out of the bottom. So I wanted the majority of the Eiffel Tower to fit on that dark blue pattern paper, so you could see it easily. That heart paper is very busy. It's nice and bold. I really like it, and I think I used almost every scrap that I had between the 12x12 and the 6x6. So for this one, I decided to stamp the sentiment Always and Forever. Again, just trying to keep that as neutral as possible. I don't know. I guess it's generally a love-themed card. But yeah, super cute. So moving on to card 22. This one turned out to be one of my favorites as well. So we have this little guy here with the box of chocolates. And in the Love You stamp set, there's a separate sentiment that says, I love you, and then more than chocolate. So I thought this would be perfect. And I just love the slimline size. So while the majority of the interest of the card is to the top of the slimline, I really like how I was able to carry those hearts down to the bottom and then have the I love you part of the sentiment under his feet to kind of ground him, and add the more than chocolate towards the bottom. So loving the slimlines. I don't know, I'm not tiring of them at all. And super fun. Like I said, I want to buy some of the 12x12 pattern paper now for the Made with Love collection before I get started on that. So here's another slimline card. We're on to card number 23, and you can see that for the majority of the slimlines, well no, for all of the slimlines, I'm using the 12x12 pattern paper. So this pattern paper is really pretty with all the Parisian motifs. So the Eiffel Tower, and then the Arc de Triomphe is there as well, and the church, which I have seen in person, and for the life of me, I can't think. The Notre Dame? Yeah. So I thought it would be cute to have the little French poodle on this card, and I used the sentiment again, You Are So Loved. So this is a very quick card to put together. I was going to add that navy blue heart behind the dog, but decided to put it down to the bottom. And I think that's a super cute, girly, fun card. So moving on to cards 24 and 25. We're almost through them all. If you've made it this far, thank you. I hope you're enjoying all the cards. I should have mentioned that this video probably requires a drink of maybe something hot while you're enjoying it. But anyway, so for this one, I'm using the merry-go-round or the carousel, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to make a slimline and an A2 size card. So here's another example of how the 3x4 cut-aparts have the perfect sentiments with them, and you can go ahead and cut the sentiments off. I do that in a card coming up if you don't want to use the 3x4 cards, and then you could just use that sentiment with the ephemera. But for this Slimline, I decided to use Always and Forever. And then again, just adding the heart to the center of the, I feel like merry-go-rounds are the ones that are, what did you say, like the ones with the horses and stuff. This to me, I don't know, maybe I'm just mixing myself up, but what would you call this, a carousel? I feel like, yeah, the merry-go-rounds are the ones that are more on the ground with the horses and stuff. But anyways, so what I was going to say is that to add some interest, I did add the heart ephemera on some foam adhesive here and added that over top of the hearts that were in the center. And those are those two cards done. Very simple. So for cards 26 and 27, I'm using an MFT sketch number 430, and there were a number of strawberries in the ephemera pack, and I didn't think I would ever get use out of them if I didn't use them now. So I decided to use this sketch, which had the 3 hearts, which I think was perfectly replaced by the individual strawberries. So I stamped out the sentiment, "Have a Sweet Birthday," which is from the Baked with Love stamp set by Fawn. And then just popped up the 3 strawberries here for each of the cards. And I love how this turned out. It's such a simple sketch, but it's super cute and a perfect, clean and simple card. It just really allows that bold dotted pattern paper to stand out. So this is from the 12x12 sheet. You can tell by the size of those polka dots, but I think it's really cute. And I think after I turned off the camera, I actually used my corner rounder for the 2 bottom corners just to give it a little bit of something extra. I did stamp the sentiment out on some red cardstock. And I really, like I said, I really like how this turned out. And without the sketch, I don't think I would have used these particular ephemera, so it's just a good way. Oh, I actually did have it on camera here. It's just a good way to kind of give an example of using those smaller ephemera. So super fun creating those ones. I enjoyed that. So here we go with card number 28, and this is a puppy dog themed card. Now this is definitely a Valentine card. That pattern paper with all the envelopes on it says Valentine's in a variety of ways. So be my Valentine, that sort of thing. So this is definitely a Valentine card, but I'm just using a card panel here, adding some of the red heart pattern paper to the top and the bottom. And then I'm just going to use a scrap of pattern paper to the middle to make sure that center panel is nice and level. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my focal pattern paper here into the center. And this is the card that I was talking about where I used the envelope from the sticker sheet. Now I didn't want the My Love sentiment to be showing, so I'm going to cut off the Pugs and Kisses sentiment from this 2x2 little cut apart. So just using my guillotine trimmer here to cut that down to size. And then using the little pug and a heart, and I think that creates a fun little scene. I did play around with placement of this sentiment a little bit, but eventually I have it so it's on a diagonal to the bottom right hand side, and I really like how that looked. I did have to trim that up just a little bit for some reason. I didn't quite get it equal, and then I'm going to cut a little fishtail banner on the left hand side, and I felt like that jazzed it up just the tiniest bit. So I am going to add some foam tape to the right hand side of the sentiment where it's going to hang over the envelope, because I've already gone ahead and popped that up on some foam tape. So just going to get that into place, and then I can figure out where I want to have my little pug and my heart. So this is a good trick if you want to cover up some sentiments that just don't work for you. I thought the Pugs and Kisses was just a little bit more, I don't know, universal than the My Love. Who doesn't love a cute little pug? So again, not really bringing the Valentine theme to the forefront, although because there's so much to do with Valentine's on that pattern paper, I would only use this for a Valentine card, so I would stamp Happy Valentine's Day on the inside. But other than that, just adding some highlights to the heart with my white gel pen and then using the black glaze pen again for the eyes and the nose. And then we're jumping in to cards number 29 and 30. So these were the ring themed elements that I had. So there was quite a number of the ephemera that had the gems or the rings. So the card to the right, again, just using that 3x4 cut apart, and I'm going to add the ephemera over top of the icon that's already there. And that one, of course, a Valentine theme. Valentine, you're a gem. And for the the left-hand side, I'm using that really bold heart pattern paper again. I really did love that with all of the bright, bold colors. And then I went ahead and cut out some of the pattern paper with a circle die and then some white cardstock out of a scalloped circle. And I'm using one of the sticker sentiments. So it says Amour de ma vie, which I'm not great at speaking French, but here in Canada, French is our second language. And so this translates to the love of my life. And I thought this would be cute for an engagement card, whether you wanted to give it to someone you were going to ask to marry or someone you know got engaged. And I thought that that would be a really cute, clean and simple card for that particular occasion. Now we're on to the final cards. So cards 31 to 35. I had a bunch of these 3x4 cut aparts left and a bunch of the pattern paper, and I knew if I didn't get these 3x4 cards on to a card, I wasn't going to use them. So I did the same design for all 5 of these, the stitched frame die for the background, and then just bordering those 3x4s on some scrap paper that I had left. So here's everything that I have left over. I'm pretty happy. I didn't have a full 12x12 sheet left. I only had 3 full sheets of the 6x6 left. And then, as always, still a ton of the ephemera, but like I said, I was super happy with how much I was able to use. And then I just have some smaller scraps from the paper. So I'm going to show you, let's do a recap of all 35 cards here. A part of me is thinking it would be fun to go back and use up what I have left. Let me know if that interests you, if you have this collection and would like to see more cards with it, and even if you don't have this collection, if it would help give you ideas. But I find when I'm making these videos, I tend to, nearing the end of it, especially when you're making close to 40 cards, your creativity kind of dwindles. And so I kind of need a break from it, but I don't know, I'm really kind of feeling like I would like to use up as much as I can with what I have left. So if that interests you, let me know. Like I said, I will link to where you can still purchase pieces from this collection. I know at scrapbook.com they have the 12x12, and I think they had the sticker sheet and maybe the die cuts. I can't remember. But everything will be linked below, including all of the other products that I used in this video. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if there's another collection from Doodlebug, an older one, that you have in your stash that you would like to see me use up, and I will put that on my list to do. Here's a couple videos for you. I will have the Doodlebug Made with Love coming out as soon as I can get that done for you. Until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you really soon in the next video. Bye! you.